Welcome to the Simpler Business Podcast, where we talk about ways to do what you love and serve your people in a way that brings you income and freedom. I'm your host, Marissa Roberts. Join me as I chat with my favorite entrepreneurs about how they simplify their biz so that you can simplify yours. You started your business, you created your offers, you're ready to change lives. Now you just need paying clients. If you've ever launched an offer to crickets, you are not alone. We start our own businesses because we're passionate about what we do and we're highly skilled at it, but we're not always natural marketers. In fact, for a lot of us, we're really uncomfortable doing it. There can be quite an emotional attachment to the sales process, especially when you're in your first 1 to 3 years of running your business. It feels really personal to put yourself out there and to talk about how great your offers are, and that's before you even start to mention the price or ask for the sale. And it takes a lot of time away from the parts of your business you actually enjoy. But without paying clients, you don't have a business, so you've got to do it no matter how much you hate it. Well, the good news is, booking clients doesn't actually have to be as hard as we're making it. Once you've got a process or a system sorted to take care of client attraction for you and give you a bit of a breather personally, things become much easier. You've got a how-to to follow, you get to release that emotional attachment and just get it done and have it work for you. And my guest today is going to walk you through the basics of client attraction so you can stand out and your ideal customers can find you and book you more easily. Hailey Rowe is a marketing sales coach and LinkedIn lead generation service provider. She helps service-based business owners, especially coaches, build out their client attraction process, get more time back, and boost sales without being held back by social media overwhelm. She shares her fast framework marketing and business tips in her Health Coach Nation podcast and in the Marketing Hub Facebook group. She's been named as one of the top 25 coaches in Chicago and one of the top 6 business podcasts for health coaches. Since 2010, Hailey has worked in the coaching industry and in business development and marketing for startups. And Hailey's philosophy is you can have an amazing service and impact to make, but without a strong mindset and sales and marketing plan, your business will remain a hobby. That is such an aha moment for me. That's so true. So welcome, Hailey. I'm so excited that you're here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk about this topic.
This is such a hot button topic, I think, because that first few years of running your own business, it's all about bringing in the clients. Everything else can kind of go on the back burner because if you don't have clients, you don't have cash flow. And if you don't have cash flow, you can't pay your expenses. And if you can't pay your expenses, you can't keep running your business. So it's always on people's minds, which is so ironic because I think a lot of us, we start our business because we want to leave the regular working life. We want more freedom. We want to do something that lights us up every day. So I think that moment when we realize, I can do the thing that lights me up, but I can't do it all the time because I also have to work on bringing clients in, and that's not our zone of genius. That's kind of where people hit that first hurdle, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a whole new skill set to learn how to market and sell when you are a service provider or a course creator and your expertise is your skill that you teach or what you service you provide. But now it's like, okay, well, you have to learn a whole nother set of skills if you really want to do this as a solopreneur.
Yeah, if you want to make it more than just a 3-month hobby that you got a tiny bit of cash from at the start and you want to actually scale over time and have a reliable income, and you really need to nail it and you kind of need to move past that I can't do it feeling. And I think having help from someone who has successfully done it before and helped other people do it before, it's the quickest, easiest, and more affordable way to get good at it because you're not going to have to stumble through everything for years. You can just do what has worked for somebody else. It's the ultimate business hack for me.
Yeah, definitely.
So why do you think entrepreneurs and coaches and service providers struggle to get clients? Do you see patterns when you're working with people?
Yes, absolutely. I would say there's a couple of common patterns that get in the way. One is, and the way I like to actually prephrase what we're talking about in client attraction is it really is simpler than you think. It comes down to the number of offers you make minus the no's equal your results. And so where I see people making mistakes is they're not in a position where they're making offers. So either they don't have the audience to make offers to, they're making offers before making what I call a pre-offer, which is something where you build trust and build value up front and give a quick win up front that can then naturally flow into your offer. Or they don't know how to make the offer and they shy away from the offer because they fear sales, right? So there's a lot of things that happen in that offer stage is that people trip up about. And then the other part is when they hear a no, they don't learn why. They don't explore the feedback. They don't want to hear it because it's personal or they'll take it personal. But we actually need to know the real why. And a lot of times people will use finances as a shield, but there's a real reason behind why they don't see the value as greater than the cost. There's something deeper than that. They don't see it as worth the money, right? And why is that? Well, maybe they haven't built trust with you yet. Maybe they don't have the right information. Maybe you confused them. Maybe there was no scarcity or urgency at all with your offer and they can think about it whenever they want, right? So there's a lot of things that come into client attraction as far as, the phases that we go through. But I think the top thing is people are just focusing more on like my Instagram post graphics, or I need this really fancy logo, or I need to obsess about my website right now, or I need to wait to launch until every single tiny part of my course is perfect when you haven't even gotten proof of concept yet. Like those kinds of things are busy work and getting you off path from being able to actually help people. So we have to bring it back to make offers, learn from the no's. And I just want to add one other thing to this, and that is what I call the 4 basics of client attraction. So with your business, any marketing channel you pick, there are 4 phases we go through. One is connecting. So how are you going to connect with your ideal clients and target audience? 2 is how are you going to engage them? That's step 2. So asking an intentional question that allows you to get to know what they want or need, learning about them through your content and inviting them to engage with you there, having a webinar or an event or something. It could be anything. You have a lot of options of how you can engage your audience. Then we have to do a pre-offer where it's giving that value up front, giving that quick win up front, building the trust, showing that you are available to help them. And then the last phase is the sales part where it's like, do you want to go deeper? Would it make sense to, talk about how we can continue to work together? So come back to those basics. And if you're spending all your time on like little perfectionism things like Instagram graphics or obsessing about the algorithms and why the algorithms aren't helping you or whatever, we're focusing on the wrong things.
Yeah, that's so true. I think too, a lot of those things that you mentioned are such emotionally charged things, where we're scared to make an offer, or if we make an offer and we get a no, we want to stick our head in the sand because we're just so rejected by that no, especially right at the beginning. It feels so personal. You don't want to spend any time there and figure it out. But actually, once you kind of release that emotional attachment and you look into, well, hang on a minute, what is it about my offer that isn't making people want to hand me wads of money right now? That experience you have where I reckon this has happened to everybody, that feeling you get where you've made an offer to somebody for your coaching or your services and they've gone, oh, it sounds wonderful, but I just need to wait until I've got a little bit more budget and I'll come back in 6 months. And then you see a week later that they've signed up with a different coach, with an offer that costs double what your offer costs, and you think to yourself, oh, well, they did have the money for it. And you get really offended with that sort of thing happening instead of going, oh, there must be something that other person is offering. There must be a little bit of a limited time window. There must be extra value somewhere. There must be a way that they're talking to that person that really relates to their struggle and can actually show them they can help. And they really believe they can get that help and get that money back with a return on investment. All those little factors, it's really hard to get past that emotional response to it, right?
Yeah, and it's hard because we love what we do, usually if we're entrepreneurs, and we have to kind of look at everything as data. And the truth is, you're right, like somebody who's better at sales and marketing and maybe, their product's better or they were able to get in front of more people or something like that. That's it. That's all it is. It's math. It's data. It's not they're better than you. It's not, you are bad at everything, So I think it's really important to kind of think about it as if you, as the business owner, are not only the skillful coach or service provider or whatever it is you do, but you're also the marketing director. You're also on your own board of directors. You're also the advisor. So you just have to kind of look at, okay, this is all a process and I'm learning, and I like to treat it like an experiment. And the other shift you have to make with your mindset is not seeing sales as convincing people for money, begging people for money, asking people for money. That's not what sales is. I hear people so naturally say that. Like, they'll just be like, I really don't like the whole process of convincing people for money. I'm like, okay, well, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get our service out there. We're providing a solution. We are, our job as coaches, if you're a coach, is to hold people accountable to what they want in life through your systems, through powerful questions, etc. So there's a lot more to it than just I'm asking you for money. There's definitely an exchange, and the skills and the byproduct effect of what happens in their life using your solution is what we want to focus on with sales.
Yeah, that's such a good point. It's really more about them than it is about you. When we get so in our own head about our offers and making them to people, and we forget that actually they're coming to us or they're gravitating towards us because they already feel like we can help them with the thing we can help them with. The sale part doesn't need to be this massive, convincing that we need to do. It doesn't have to be a whole big shiny thing. It's often just authentic connection that does the trick, or just really being almost not matter of fact, but clear and confident about how your offer is going to help the other person, not necessarily what's actually included in the offer. Like, oh, my course has 6 modules. It's more about what's the transformation they're going to get, what's the outcome, how's their life going to improve. And I think once we start talking in terms of that, it's actually really easy to make the sale because that person wants what you're talking about. They're just waiting for you to give them an opportunity to sign up for it. But what about when it comes to things like, okay, so here are the top 2 things people ask me about. How do I get that sort of visibility and get those numbers rolling? And how do I stand out when there are other people in the same field offering similar sorts of offers? I feel like those are 2 massive hurdles that people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's start with the visibility. So the first thing I have my clients do, one of them in my program, is make what I call a leads finder list. And that just means think about your target audience. So that's the first step. If you don't even know who you want to be taking your course or who gets the best results from your service, we have to start there. And I have a free niche training at HaileyRowe.com. But once you know, I'm going to assume everybody here knows, I work with busy moms, or I work with entrepreneurs, or I work with, something very specific. So once you know that, okay, now we need to ask, what Instagram accounts, what events, what conferences, what complementary type of business owners. So in other words, if you're a declutter expert, you may partner with somebody who helps moms with meal prep, because both tend to go hand, like we want to declutter and we want to organize our meal prep. That kind of makes sense for moms who are busy and have a lot going on.
Yeah.
So partners. It could be any category. It could be local businesses you'd want to partner with. So you need to pick kind of your lane. Like, do I really want to hone in on Instagram? Do I really want to hone in on LinkedIn? Do I really want to hone in on local marketing? Whatever it is, just make a choice. And then think about, where do my ideal clients hang out in that avenue, in that, on that social media platform or whatever. And once you know that, then we can start to either connect with them through collaborations and partnerships. So you could do more Instagram live swaps with people who have your audience, because both audiences get notified that you guys are going live together. So that's a good way to cross promote. You could reach out for those local partnerships and form a referral partnership with somebody who complements what you do. You could start LinkedIn lead generation, for example, which is a whole nother thing. But like, the point is, pick something and then ask yourself, how can I either partner with somebody or connect directly with my ideal client on that platform or in that channel? And the other thing I would suggest, though, before you even do that, is ask yourself, what has worked in the past? So where have you gotten visibility before? Where did you get your free clients? Where did you get your practice clients? Where did you get your paid clients, if you have some? And usually people will say word of mouth. And so the most obvious place to start is, how can you expand your word of mouth marketing? which could be creating an affiliate or referral partnership for your clients and saying, hey, do you know 2 people who would want a free consult to see if it's to do XYZ together or something like that, or doing like a free audit for somebody's friend who is your client's friend. Like something like that can be such a more obvious place to start than going down a rabbit hole of like, oh, I need to jump to Facebook ads, or I need to do this or that. So my first suggestion always is to start with the lowest hanging fruit. And the way that you can figure that out is I would ask yourself the question, if I had to book a client today, what would I immediately do? What ideas would immediately come up for me as the lowest hanging fruit, as people I already know, as warm connections, as referrals, etc., right? And then you'd make the leads finder list, pick one platform, and start expanding your visibility on that platform. Now, your other question about how to stand out, well, there's a couple things. Number one, what separates you from somebody else who does a similar service to you is a couple things. One, your story. So some people are going to resonate that you went from XYZ to ABC compared to so-and-so who went from HIJK to, whatever else, right? So your story separates you. And there's parts of your story that bring in your values. So values is another thing that separates you. If you're a business coach, but you value family time and being a mom, and some other business coach values traveling the world and being a digital nomad, well, suddenly the people who want to be a digital nomad and aspire to that lifestyle are going to go to the digital nomad coach, and the person who is a mom who wants more time with their family are going to go to you, right?
Yeah.
Or like for me, I attract a lot of women in the Midwest who are family oriented, sometimes faith-based, just very wholesome, because I'm in the Midwest. I'm like a crazy cat lady. I love family. I love my niece and nephew. Like that's kind of who I attract, right?
Yeah.
So so your vibe. And then the third thing is your framework or system. So rather than Coach A might say, I do business coaching and I help you with your messaging and your marketing and your sales. Okay, Coach B might have a, 4-phase scaling system, and it's more unique and it is more clear to people tangibly what they're getting. So suddenly Coach B looks better. So I have a framework called Grow Your Business the Fast Way. It's an acronym, and it stands for followers, action, sales, time management, and transformation. And I go into more detail about that and stuff on webinars and whatnot. But the point is, it helps people tangibly wrap their head around like what we're doing together, compared to me just saying, oh, we're just going to coach. We're going to, we're going to keep you accountable. We're going to do business stuff, right? So that separates you. And then the last thing, and probably the most important thing, is your traits. So if you are somebody who is willing to go the extra mile for people, and you're somebody who treats people like gold, and you're somebody who's not afraid to give value up front, and you're somebody who is solution oriented instead of inconsistent and gets caught up in why me, why is this so hard, why like victim mentality, all of a sudden you dominate, because the people who make it in entrepreneurship sustainably are the people who have really strong traits like willingness to feel uncomfortable emotions and feelings, willingness to stick it out and be patient, willingness to be solutions oriented and learn new skills, coachable, etc. So I think the traits honestly are the most important, because I've seen a lot of people start a business because, they just think it's a good idea and they don't have like a really strong why, or they think that they have this like sense of entitlement, like, oh, it should just be so easy because it's been easy in my jobs or whatever. And then they kind of like fizzle out very quickly because they're just like not ready with the traits required to be successful as an entrepreneur.
I really loved all of that. I feel like there was such a light bulb moment for me when you were talking about both the visibility and the standing out. And that was how authentic you are as an actual person that cares about other people. Like in terms of narrowing down who you help, as soon as you said, look, if you're somebody who likes the digital nomad lifestyle, or if you're somebody who really resonates with spending time with your family, I'm like, those are such clear definitions. And actually, if you do gravitate towards what you're naturally about, it's so much easier too, right? You don't have to put up a front. You don't have to polish yourself up. You don't have to be somebody you're not and put all that extra time and effort into showcasing that version of you, because the actual version of you is going to appeal to your correct ideal kind of customers. And then when you're talking about standing out from other people and using a framework, that made so much sense, because to have a pathway that you're going to help people follow and be really clear about not just this is the great outcome you're going to get, but here's the proof that you're going to get there, because we're going to do this first and then we're going to focus on this and we're going to focus on this. It really gives this impression of, well, not impression, it really shows that you actually care about your client reaching that outcome and reaching that goal. And you're not just in it for the money. You're not just in it for the sale. And that alone, that sort of energy when you're making an offer, does all the hard work for you, really, doesn't it? It shows them that you care. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of the marketing and sales stuff naturally falls into place when you're really confident and when you really care. And like, I think about when you guys have a restaurant you love, you're not like, oh, should I tell my friend about it? Like, is that weird if I say it? Like, you're like, oh my gosh, this restaurant was so good. And it's kind of naturally, you know, able to talk about it. So it's the same thing like on social media. When you have a client call and there was something really aha moment that was powerful and that you want to share a lesson with your audience, that's you naturally marketing. And now it's more natural because you're like, oh my God, I got to tell you about this aha moment like this client had today, you know? So I think it can come more naturally when you're leading with that service, leading with that interest and curiosity in what you do, all that kind of stuff.
That's so true. A lot of it's that mindset behind it. You know, marketing really is just sharing stuff that's happening that, you know, you're helping people with, or ideas that you have that are going to make things better for other people. It's really just sharing that experience and that insight and that information. It's not, it doesn't have to be like a cheesy sort of thing that we're doing. And in fact, cheesy marketing doesn't work anymore. Authentic marketing is where it's at. And I think that's such a shift for the good. I think we can spot a hard sales pitch these days. We don't need to do them anymore because nobody resonates with them anyway. Just be yourself. Be really authentic, show people how you can help them, but be consistent in your visibility. I loved your idea of partnering up. Immediately, I was like, wow. So if I was a dog trainer, for example, I don't have to go and comment on other dog trainers' profiles on Instagram and look really spammy like that. I can go to pet food stores. I can go to dog-friendly parks. I can go to leash companies. Like there's such a wide pool of people that we can collaborate with, that I think because we're so zero focused on I've just got to book clients, we don't think about the opportunities we have and the masses and masses of people who are out there in a way that complements our business, not competes with it. That was such a lovely tip to share. That was like gold. Just there's so many gold nuggets that you've been dropping.
Well, I am a big fan of collaborating and partnerships with complementary types of businesses. I think it's awesome. And a lot of people find it more fun than the typical marketing methods. So yes, big fan.
Yeah. And I can think myself of times I've seen people on lives together and I'm like, oh, I follow that person and I follow that person and you two are friends in real life. That's amazing. Such a powerful thing. All right. I love what you've shared today, Hailey. Thank you so much. We've only been talking for like, 25 minutes. And I feel like I've learned 6 different things. And I've been in the industry for 12 years. And there's so many things that you've said today where I'm like, oh, yes, I forgot all about that. I really should be actioning that more myself. So I think our listeners are going to find that really helpful as well, which means they're going to want more from you. So you have a masterclass that we should share with people, right? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I have a free class sharing how to book your next paying clients without social media overwhelm holding you back. And it really brings you deeper into those 4 basics we touched on today, and also how to stand out. So we do go through a little more how to stand out. So that's at haileyrowe.com/client-attraction. It has a video and then the little cheat sheet Cliff Notes version. And I'm also, on all the other platforms, Instagram, Hailey_Rowe, Health Coach Nation podcast, all that kind of stuff.
Lovely. And you reckon Instagram's the best way to get in touch with you if people have a question or they want to have a little chat in the DMs? Instagram's the way to go?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, if you DM me giveaway, you can also be, I don't know when this episode's coming out, but I will be able to enter into a giveaway for a free trial month for my Thriving Coach membership. So feel free to let me know you listen to the podcast, and that's kind of what we're running right now. So happy to offer that.
Very nice. All right. I'm going to make sure we've got links to all of that in the show notes so that it's nice and easy for people to find you. This has been the best chat. Thank you for being here and sharing all of that with us. I got so much gold out of that, and I know all of the listeners will as well. It's been a really fun time.
Thank you. I love talking with you, and I'm excited to keep in touch.
Yeah, I'm really keen to hear how everybody goes with your steps as well. So if you're listening and you try some of the things that Hailey's talked about today and you get some great results, or you're really excited to do something, you want some help with it, come and find us on Instagram. Let us know what you thought about the episode. Head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review as well, because I want to make sure that the things that we talk about on the podcast are the things that you want to listen to. So come on over and let us know. Hope you've all enjoyed listening to the conversation as much as I've enjoyed having it, and I'll see you all in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Simpler Business Podcast. If you did, please subscribe, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to make it nice and easy for you, just the way we like it. If you're ready to simplify and scale your business, you can get started with my free audio class at marissaroberts.com. See you next time.